Have you seen Deadpool starring Deadpool, or Zootopia starring Judy Hopps, or Dungeons and Dragons starring either Dungeons or Dragons, or how about Taken starring Liam Neeson untaking his daughter? Have you seen Drumline or Whiplash or Jersey Boys or Sing Street or Mamma Mia or School of Rock or any other music-based movie? Here's my pitch to you. Combine all of those things and get this bad boy, Kings of the Wyld, Nicholas Eames. It's a book that kind of encapsulates a lot of those facets from those different movies, and I'll explain why. First of all, the humor. It's a very funny book, and it's intentionally being humorous. All the characters have jokes here or there, some of them more than others. There are the straight character playing off of the silly character. You have that as well, but there's humor throughout the whole thing. Dungeons and Dragons, that one's pretty self-explanatory. You've got a group, a gang, a band, as they're called in this book, going out and hunting things in dungeons, and orc raids, goblin raids, dragon raids, all those kind of things. Raid Shadow Legends, probably. That's maybe a joke that's a little bit too old. And then the music side of things. Any movie with music in it, any movie where there's a band, there's, that thing you do, putting a band together, making songs, you have that in this. The whole pitch of the book, I feel like, is what if we treated the way warring dungeon raiding bands were? What if we treated them as if it was a real musical band? And so we'll have a bunch of references throughout the whole story to music bands, to touring around like a rock star group would. That's the whole thing. And the idea of this is, it's an old group of guys who used to be a part of a band. The band disbanded. It broke up, as it does. People got relationships. People got other jobs. They got into different things that they wanted to do. They didn't want to be a part of the band anymore. Music was for when you were a kid. You don't make music anymore. You're older now. You got to think of better things, bigger things. But now they're old and they have a reason to get the band back together. The boys are back in town, right? So it's got references throughout the whole thing to music, to putting the band back together, to rekindling that spark of electric guitar energy with your friends, the group that you had when you were younger. That's the whole book. There's a lot of really good in this book. There's, I mentioned Zootopia. Let me touch on that for a second. Judy Hopps, you got the bunnies. I'll put together a very poorly edited image of Deadpool with bunny ears. It's going to be maybe the worst edit you've ever seen in your life, but it's going to be there. I thought about wearing a Deadpool mask this entire video, but I was too lazy to go buy one.
I'm actually just really poor.
So here I am with my regular face and this, sort of Hawaiian type shirt. But I think the thing that's interesting about Kings of the Wyld is that, it's got this heartfelt story at the center of it, right? Without going into spoilers, without going into details, because I think this could just be a pitch video rather than a review video. But the main characters get together for a reason that's bigger than themselves, better than themselves, to go do something that's honorable and that means a lot to the characters themselves. And so we have these histories and these backstories told through their lens as they're getting together, as they're kind of compiling and bringing back all the members. And you have all these really funny moments, these interesting characters. And the Judy Hopps bunny thing, there are characters in this, I should say, that have rabbit ears. They're like rabbit type human people. They're sort of bunnies. They're bunny people. And they're kind of like, alien supernatural creatures that have bunny ears. It's super cool. It's very cool. It's kind of silly in the sense of like, oh, these guys have bunny ears, rabbit ears. They're kind of rabbits, but they're not. They're their own species. They're like elves, but with rabbit ears. I can't really explain it. You just have to read it. And maybe it's been done before. It's, anthropomorphized bunnies in a way, but it's very good, very cool. There is one section in the middle of this that I sort of lost interest, and I thought, man, it's a little bit too much, going a little bit too far. I'm feeling like I'm being dragged on a little bit. But then, 10% of the book later, I was back into it again, and it was very, very exciting and very fun. It's kind of a chunky book. I don't know the word count, and I'm not going to do the research to pull it up, but you can just see physically, it's got a little bit of depth to it. But it read pretty quickly. I didn't struggle on this one for too long. I just read through it. I think the cover is maybe, if I'm going to give a slight spoiler, the cover is not that accurate as to what the book is. But I think, maybe he wanted to kind of give the idea of, depending on how much control the author, Nicholas Eames, had on the cover, maybe he wanted to give kind of more of an illusion of, this is a serious kind of gritty book. And it is gritty in some ways because it's very violent. It's very brutal. lots of language. It's not for kids in any aspect at all. It's very vulgar. And that's where the Deadpool comes in, right? It's the silly, funny, kind of crass humor that Deadpool basks in and really excels at. And so that goes really well into this book. And I felt like I was reading a Deadpool fantasy story with dragons and goblins and everything that I mentioned before, going on this quest, going on this journey with kind of these rabbit bunny people. So it's got tons of aspects to it. As far as I know, it's kind of a standalone. There is a sequel to it that is in some way related. I haven't read it yet. I don't know if I will, but as it is, it seems kind of like a standalone. I think it totally works like that. It's got a lot of fun aspects to it. The characters all have their own interesting little quirks, interesting little things. Again, as I'm saying that, I'm thinking of certain characters. This is not a kid-friendly book, so if you're a young person, steer clear. Also, you should be watching Deadpool, so that already should have got you out of this video. Go watch something else. But having said all that, Kings of the Wyld, no review, just a little pitch. If you like any of those things that I listed, if you're a big Drumline fan, if you think the band should get back together, and if you are in a band that I once was in, and you are watching this video and you really want to go back on tour and start making music again, let me know, because I will pick up the ukulele and we'll do it. But yeah, that's my pitch review video rant. 1,000 words a minute. I felt like I was talking very fast. Kings of the Wyld, Nicholas Eames. It's a fun one. It's more fun than a lot of the books that I read. It's not necessarily on the same silliness level as Terry Pratchett, who I absolutely love Terry Pratchett. So I think that's in a different category entirely. This one is just trying to be crass and crude and silly and funny in a lot of those aspects, with a heartfelt message at the center of it, and just a good fantasy setting. The idea that, let's take a band of warriors and treat them as if they're a rock band and they're rock stars, and we have arenas that they play in a certain way within the fantasy world. So a lot of cool elements stuck together, a lot of references that you could see from other things, from music, from other stories in general, put together into this. Kings of the Wyld, Nicholas Eames. I recommend it. Let me know if you read it or if you haven't read it, and if you think it sounds interesting. I will see you in the next video. Jeez, that was a rush.